This video is sponsored by ToneGym. Welcome to the inaugural ear training Olympic Games. Today we'll be going through 5 different ear training events where we'll be played something musical like an interval, a chord, a rhythm, and we have to identify what it is just using our ears. And I want you to play along as well. And you can tell me in the comments what medal you got. So let me know down below how you do, and we're going to launch into the first event of the day, which is intervals. So in this first event, we're going to be played 2 notes in succession, and we have to identify what the melodic interval is between those 2 notes. So let's dive straight in. Let me listen to that again. And what I'll try and do in this is not immediately answer to give you guys more of a chance to get it right. Ooh, major third. Okay. That is perfect fourth. One more time. That is minor third. That's the same one again, so minor third. That is another minor third. You'll notice that sometimes I'm singing to kind of confirm that I've got the interval I think, because if I think it's a major third, a good way to check is to sing up the major scale to the 3rd degree and kind of see if it matches what I'm hearing. Okay. Minor third. Minor third again, I think. One more time. Now, I don't know about you guys, but for me, that sounds like somewhere over the rainbow. Major third. So we've got 2 more left in this event. I'm currently still on for the gold medal. Let me know if you're the same. Ooh. Perfect fifth. Minor third. Cool. So in the first event, which is the interval training, I managed to get the gold medal. Let me know down below how you did. Event number 2 is all about chord quality. So we're going to be played a triad chord, and we have to identify whether that chord is major, minor, diminished, or augmented. Let's get started. Okay, I think that's pretty unambiguously major. Okay. So now we have a tense sort of sound, a dissonant sort of sound, which means it's going to be either diminished or augmented. But I always struggle to pinpoint which one's which. I've never quite been confident with this. But I think that's diminished. Okay, cool. Okay, so this chord sounds stable. So it has to be major or minor. It's not dissonant, it's consonant. But it sounds darker, so it's minor. Okay. Dissonant, and I'm pretty sure it's a diminished chord. I think that's another diminished. Yeah. Okay, so this one's dissonant, but I think this is actually an augmented chord. It sounds kind of wider than a diminished chord would be, and it also sounds a little less directional. It doesn't sound like we need to go somewhere. It just sounds dissonant. So I think that's augmented. But this one, stable but dark, minor. That one, dissonant, but sounds to me like we want to go somewhere, which means it's diminished. Stable but bright, major. Stable but bright, major. And that's the exact same chord again, so major. And that is yet another major chord to finish us off. Right, so just about scraped that in my opinion. There was definitely a few where it was a choice between diminished and augmented, and I wasn't completely sure. So I kind of got lucky there, but thankfully still got my gold medal. Let me know down below how you got on. The third event today is about scales. We're going to be played a scale and we have to identify what scale it is. It may be major, it might be some sort of minor scale. Let's find out. Okay, play it one more time. So it's a minor scale. So here we have two types of minor scale, harmonic minor and what they're calling the jazz melodic minor, which I would call the ascending melodic minor scale. Listen out one more time. So the giveaway for harmonic minor is that extra wide interval at the top of the scale where the leading note's been raised up. It almost has that sort of Arabic sound. Okay, so we know it's minor because the third degree is the minor third, not the major third. But at the top of the scale, it didn't have that extra wide Arabic sounding interval. So it's not harmonic minor, it's regular minor. Okay, this time we're descending, but listen out again. Once again, had that wide interval at the top. Listen again. Minor. Okay, have another listen to that. So we know it's minor because the third note was a lowered third there. But the top of the scale sounds like the major scale, right? Which means it's the melodic minor. That's the regular minor. Okay, that's the exact same example again. Okay, this one's interesting. So we're descending this time, right? Have another listen. So at first, it sounds like a major scale as we descend. But then when we get to the third, it's lowered. That means it's the melodic minor because the melodic minor is exactly like the major scale but with a lowered third. Okay, there, listen out for that interval. A wide interval at the top, harmonic minor. Okay, that one's fairly classic, right? Major. And another major to finish us off. So 3 for 3 so far. I'm on for a full set of gold medals. But just before we go into the penultimate event, I wanted to tell you about the actual software, the website we're using here to do our ear training, and that is ToneGym. ToneGym is actually the sponsor of this video, and ToneGym, as you can see, is a brilliant way to practice all sorts of ear training. They have different games for covering all aspects of ear training, whether it be intervals, chords, scales, rhythm, sight singing, sight reading, all sorts of stuff. If you've been enjoying this video but you've not been doing quite as well as you would like, then I highly recommend trying out ToneGym because they do guide you from the bottom up each level incrementally. So they will start you with really easy examples, and then as you progress, you'll get extra difficulty, extra options to choose from, sort of progressing you bit by bit. Use the link in the description to start improving your ear today with ToneGym. So for our penultimate event today, we're once again doing intervals, but this time, unlike the first event, they're not melodic intervals, they're not notes in succession, they are harmonic intervals. So we'll hear notes played at the same time, and we have to identify what that interval between the two notes is. And one more time. Okay, to me that sounds relatively narrow and it sounds sweet, so it sounds like a major third. That sounds wide and it sounds quite clean, so it's a perfect fifth. Okay, that's actually the exact same interval we got at the beginning. That's the third. Okay. So this one, once again, sounds kind of clean to me, which is the quality I described the perfect fifth with. But the thing is, perfect fifths and perfect fourths, which are two of our options here, have very similar qualities. And part of the reason for that is that they are actually inversions of each other, those two intervals. So they are very similar, easily mistaken for one another. But here, that's a fourth, because it can sort of sound, as you can imagine it, resolving down to the third, in my opinion. It's a bit like a sus4, right? So that's once again got that clean sound, but it doesn't sound like it could resolve down to a third, which means it's a perfect fifth. That is a fourth. Okay, this one, I'm not actually sure if it's a fourth or a fifth. I think it's a fifth. Yeah. Yeah. So that's a fifth as well. Okay. So hopefully you can hear, after hearing a few fifths, how much closer those two notes are. They're almost kind of stodgy. They're like too close in a way compared to a fifth. It's a major third. And now we're back to that clean, wide sound of the fifth. Okay. So that is our fourth. Fifth again. Okay, I can't actually really believe this. There's been some close calls, but I am 4 for 4. Let's see if I can get a gold in the final event. If you're still 4 for 4 as well, do let me know down below. So the final event today is all about identifying pitch on notation. A note will come moving across the screen on a stave, and you have to identify what note it is before it reaches the end of the stave. Now, to give you the maximum amount of time to identify it at home, I will try and answer at the very last second, okay? Okay, as soon as you can, shout out what that note is. We're getting faster now. Just a few more left. And there we go. So I had to kind of take my time on that to give you guys as much time as possible to get it right. But I thought what would be good before we finish off is for me just to have one more go at that, and this time I'll do it as fast as I can. Obviously, if you still can, play along as well. But here we go. I'm going to try and answer it as quickly as I can. Okay. It's actually very similar to reading sheet music, sight reading. Your brain is doing the same thing. But rather than the note moving to the left, your eyes are moving to the right. And there we go. So there is the Ear Training Olympics. Let me know down in the comments what medals you managed to get on all 5 of those events. And thanks again for watching.